Hello my dear students, welcome back to my channel. I'm Miss O and today we're going to study how to talk about simple present tense and daily routines. Don't go. Let's begin then with this new lesson, which is lesson number 8, in which we are going to delve into simple present again, and we're going to see more examples of how to use this grammatical tense in context, like in a conversational context. And also we are going to study more vocabulary words and more expressions for you to speak more. Okay, let's do this then. Entonces lo que vamos a hacer en la clase de hoy es profundizar un poquito más en el presente simple, en sus reglas, particularmente en el juego que existe ahí entre el uso de la primera y la tercera persona. Vamos a estudiar un poquito más de expresiones de daily routines y también le vamos a agregar time expressions para decir mucho más, para entregar mucha más información en un contexto conversacional. So, let's go. In the first place, let's imagine you're talking about things you do in the morning. Okay, for example, first thing you do is to wake up. So to wake up is to literally open your eyes, right? And get up is to like stand up. Entonces wake up es despertar and get up significa levantarse. Okay? So what can we say? For example, you might say that you wake up late in the morning, right? Yo me levanto tarde en la mañana. I wake up late in the morning. So I can say, what about you? Do you wake up late too? Podemos devolver. You can return the question. Remember always to return the question if you're in a conversational context. Siempre tenemos que devolver la pregunta para mostrar interés. So, okay, ways to respond or options to respond. Lo más breve que podemos responder acá es con la yes or no question. Yes, I do. And you please try to add more information. Trata de agregar más información por medio de una afirmación, or you can say, no, I don't, and you add a little bit more information. Entonces podemos responder por medio de una afirmación o de una negación. Si no viste la clase anterior respecto de las reglas que tenemos para estructurar las oraciones del presente simple, entonces te voy a dejar por acá arribita la clase correspondiente para que te pongas al día. If you didn't watch the class in which I taught you how to use the structure of simple present, please watch the full class. So let's continue. Those are some options. So if you want, you can add a little bit more information as the time at which you do an action. For example, I want to say I wake up at 11. So I'm not just saying that I wake up late, I'm adding more information. In this case, I'm saying that I do this action at an exact time, ¿ok? Entonces agrega más información. En este caso estamos agregando la información de la hora. What else? So, if you change into the third person, remember that you have to add the S at the end of the verb. For example, if I want to talk about my husband, I can say my husband gets up early in the morning, okay? So, early is like the opposite of late, okay? So late, tarde, and early means temprano, right? What about you? Does he? And then we use the interrogative sentence, okay? Does he wake up early? Does he wake up early? So you can say, you can use a short answer as well. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. But just try to remember all the time, you should add more information. Recuerda usar entonces la respuesta corta en una primera instancia, pero siempre intenta decir más. Recuerda que acá, si estamos haciendo una afirmación para agregar más información, recuerda agregar la S. Si no, recuerda usar el doesn't que tenemos por acá. Okay? Let's continue then. What else? Oh, so this is very important. We have the use of prepositions in here that may be confusing. Aquí estamos analizando algunas de las preposiciones que pueden ser un poquito confusas, que en este caso son el in y el at, right? So when you say in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, remember that's the preposition you should use, in, right? But when you talk about night or when you want to talk about an exact time, you should use at, okay? At night, at 9 p.m., at 9 a.m., or you can just say early or late. Remember, early, temprano, late, tarde. That's it. Let's continue. What else do you do in the morning? For example, you might come up with take a bath or take a shower. So make sure you make the distinction between these two actions. The first one, as you can see there with the picture, it means to, well, use a bath, right? Usamos una bañera, es tomar un baño. And the other action is to take a shower, que significa usar la ducha, ¿ya? O sea, me cae el agüita desde arriba. That's the difference, okay? You can mention this action and say something like, I take a shower in the morning. So what about you? Do you take a shower in the morning? So what would you say? Yes, I do. No, I don't. What additional information would you give? Try to think about them and write your answers down. Well, in this sentence, we use a different subject, but we're still using the same structure. Remember that we have to add the S sound, right? Mary takes a bath. If you want to talk about the third person, remember to add the S, right? Mary takes a bath every day. Mary takes a bath every day. Ella o Mary toma un baño todos los días. And if you want to ask a question with that, you should use does, right? Does she take a bath in the morning? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. And try to come up with a complement to say more or to give more information. And well, this is very important as well because with these complements or expressions, time expressions, you can say a little bit more or be more specific. In this case, you have every day, que significa todos los días. On weekdays, los días de la semana, like from Monday to Friday. And we also, and pay much attention here, on weekends, you can say that, on weekends, los fines de semana, or you can say on the weekend. But pay attention, in here you don't have to add the S at the end of the word because you use it in singular form. Okay, so it's one or another. On weekends, on the weekend. It's up to you. Okay, so let's continue. We also have three important and common actions we do in the morning. Have breakfast, eat breakfast, make breakfast. So what's the difference? When you say have breakfast or when you say eat breakfast, that is to consume your breakfast, right? Es como tomar desayuno. Have or eat breakfast, they mean the same. Es tomar tu desayuno, comer tu desayuno. But when you use the verb make, means to cook, okay? You're making your breakfast. Tú estás haciendo, estás cocinando tu desayuno, okay? So, anyways, let's see some questions or negative sentences you can make with these expressions. For example, you might say something like, I don't have breakfast in the morning because I don't have time. So in this sentence, well, you have two sentences together that they complement each other, right? They complement each other because you're given a reason of why you don't do that action, right? I don't have breakfast because I don't have time. Remember, we use don't because the subject is I. Usamos el don't porque el subject, el sujeto, es yo, okay? And remember, if you want to answer the question, remember to add more information and remember to take notes of your possible answers. In here, we have some sort of a review, es como un repaso de cómo empleamos las negaciones en tercera persona, singular. ¿Ok? Recuerda que no vamos a negar con el don't, sino que vamos a negar con doesn't. Mario doesn't have breakfast. Doesn't have breakfast. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time. So in here, for example, we ask the question as well, right? Does he have breakfast in the morning? Él desayuna en la mañana. Does he have breakfast in the morning? Remember to use the short answer like yes, he does or no, he doesn't. And try to say something like, yeah, he has breakfast very early in the morning. Just to set as an example. So I wanted to emphasize this here because you have to remember that have changes. It's not haves or haves or I don't know how to pronounce it. No es haves, ¿cierto? Sino que es un verbo irregular que cambia su forma y para traspasarlo a tercera persona vamos a usar la forma has, right? Bien, eso creo que no lo habíamos estudiado antes, pero ahora ya lo sabes. I don't think I had mentioned that before, but now you know. So, expressions to complement your sentences, you could use before or after. For example, I can say something like, do you have breakfast in the morning? Yes, I do. I have breakfast before I go to work. Let's continue. So in the afternoon, what do you do in the afternoon? Think about actions you usually do in the afternoon. For example, you might say, I take a nap. That's to sleep during the afternoon. Especially, we do this, take a nap, after lunch. Entonces, tomar una siesta, ¿verdad? After that, we have take a walk. Okay, take a walk, which is dar un paseo. Maybe you walk around your neighborhood or maybe you go somewhere else to take a walk. Okay, you can also, this is very similar, you can also walk your dog. So I can say, I walk my dog in the afternoons. So think about the actions you do to make more sentences. Let's see what we can say. For example, I usually take a nap after lunch. Lo que estamos usando acá, chicos, es un adverbio de frecuencia, un frequency adverb, que son básicamente expressions to talk about the frequency of an action. Los usamos para hablar acerca de la frecuencia con la cual ocurre una acción. Los más conocidos, y aquí te dejo algunos como para que tengas una idea general, son always, siempre, usually, usualmente, sometimes, a veces, hardly ever, rara vez, and never, nunca. Okay? So, the most important thing about this is that you should place the frequency adverb between the subject and the verb. Okay, I'm going to say it in Spanish so you can understand it. La ubicación del adverbio de frecuencia es súper importante porque va entre el sujeto y el verbo. Bueno, a no ser sometimes, que sometimes es un poquito más libre de usar, pero generalmente si queremos respetar la gramática deberíamos usarlo entre el sujeto y el verbo, between the subject and the verb, okay? So remember that, keep that in mind so you don't make any grammatical mistakes, okay? So for example, I can say, no, I don't. I hardly ever take a nap. Or you can say, I always take a nap after lunch. Or you can say, I sometimes take a nap. You got it? I hope you do. So we use the same way or the same structure if you want to say something about a third person, right? For example, if you want to say, okay, does he take a walk after dinner? Does he take a walk after dinner? Él da un paseo después de la cena. So you can say, yes, he does. He usually takes a walk after dinner. You can say something similar to that. But the thing is, remember, usually goes between the subject, that in this case is he, and the verb, that in this case is takes. They work the same way. So, okay, more actions you can think about during the afternoon. Maybe take a class in the afternoon, maybe study in the afternoon, or maybe read a book in the afternoon, right? Tomar una clase, es como ir a una clase. En español, ahora que lo pienso, no se usa mucho tomar una clase, se habla más de asistir a una clase. En ese caso podemos decir también en inglés attend a class. You can say take a class, or you can also say attend a class, okay? Do not use any kind of prepositions there. No usen ninguna preposición con el verbo attend, okay? Un cognado falso, by the way. Okay, another question that is very useful is to ask about the time at which an action occurs. For example, you can say, what time do you take your online classes? So in that case, you can answer with a complete sentence like, I take my classes at. So remember the preposition when you're talking about the time is always at, okay? It's not at de, que eso lo he visto bastantes veces porque copiamos la estructura que nosotros tenemos en el español, como a las. But it's not like that, it's not at de, it's at, just at. And you can also say in the morning. So there's no problem in using both, like the exact time and the complement in the morning. Se pueden usar ambas, no hay problema. Okay? So you can also, okay, look at this. You can also use the days of the week to give more information. Well, you have all the days in here, like on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the thing is that when you talk about a day in English, you don't use the article the, okay? Do not say the Monday. That's incorrect. You should use the preposition on, okay? This is quite different than what we use in Spanish, but please take notes of this because this is a very, very common mistake when it comes to talking about days. So, for example, you might say something about a third person, for example, about Michael. Michael takes his classes on Saturday mornings. That's a very good one, okay? And, well, as you already noticed, these questions are not yes or no questions, ¿ya? Estas no son preguntas de sí o no, ¿ya? Si te fijas, la estructura respecto de las anteriores cambió porque ahora estamos comenzando las preguntas con estas palabritas de WH, como por ejemplo what and what time, o no sé, when or where, y eso hace que las preguntas ya sean preguntas de información, ¿ok? Entonces, en ese caso, recordar que ya no vamos a usar el yes, I do o el no, I don't, porque eso va a revelar que no entendí bien la pregunta, porque no me están diciendo sí o no, ya me están preguntando por una información en particular, que en este caso es la hora a la cual yo empiezo mis clases y en este caso sería cuándo yo tomo mis clases. For example, he takes his classes on Friday, ¿ya? Es muy, pero muy importante entender bien la pregunta, leer bien la pregunta para yo poder responder con la información debida. What else? What do you do in the evening? So think about things you do in the evening and please take notes. For example, you can do your homework. You can do your assignment. This is a very good question you can ask. So please be really careful when you formulate this question. Try to practice it a lot because this is not the same structure we have in Spanish. Look at this. Who do you do your homework with? Who do you do your homework with? So as you can see, the word with goes at the end of the sentence, and that's kind of new for us Spanish speakers, right? Porque nosotros decimos con quién, ¿cierto? Con quién. So just remember this. This is not the exact same order. Entonces nada más recalcar que en este tipo de preguntas que son como, tienen una estructura diferente de la que nosotros estamos acostumbrados en el español, solamente apréndete la pregunta del modo en que está y recuerda, el with lo vamos a dejar al final. So, who do you do your homework with? I do my homework with my classmate. So when you respond to this kind of question, you use the preposition with, okay? Con. I do my homework with. And you need to mention a person with whom you do the action you're talking about, right? With my friend, with my classmates, with my mom, etc. So the same question in third person. Who does Caroline do her homework with? ¿Con quién ella hace su tarea? ¿Con quién Caroline hace su tarea? She does her homework by herself. Ella hace su tarea sola. By herself means alone, okay? So by herself. Or you can say she does her homework with her sister or with me. Or you can come up with any ideas there. So what else? What do you do in the evening? Okay, this is a very interesting question as well and interesting verbs as well because I know you do this a lot, which is check, for example, your email or checking your social media, right? Like Facebook, like Instagram, or like this, YouTube. So how often? This is a pretty interesting question you may ask. How often do you check your social media? How often, which is this expression here, means con qué frecuencia, okay? Con qué frecuencia tú chequeas tus redes sociales, right? I check my social media, for example. You can say anything. For example, every hour, I check my social media many times a day. You can say mostly in the afternoon. You can say mostly in the evening or in the morning. You can say, you can be more specific and say, for example, before I go to bed or after I have lunch, etc., etc. Or you can simply say all day long. I'm connected or I'm checking my news feed all day long. That can, well, I hope not, but that's an option too. Okay, what else? You can transform this sentence into third person as well. You can say, my sister checks her social media mostly in the evening. If you want to transform that into a question, you might use does in order to create the question, right? So there you have a question in third person, which is how often? How often does she check her social media? con qué frecuencia ella chequea sus redes sociales o revisa sus redes sociales, ¿cierto? Recuerda que aquí estamos usando preguntas de información, por tanto no tenemos que usar un sí o un no, ¿ya? Recuerda eso, es la oración completa, afirmación o una negación, pero es la información directa, ¿ok? Okay, this is pretty interesting because I get questions about this all the time, like all the time. Yeah, and it's about the confusion between do and make. Bueno, estos verbos producen mucha, pero mucha confusión porque en español tenemos solamente un hacer, ¿verdad? Y ese hacer nos sirve como una traducción para el verbo do y para el verbo make. Entonces es como, ¿cuál de los dos uso? Es difícil entender la diferencia al principio. Entonces, como para tener una guía, porque no sé si hay una regla que funcione al 100%, para mí lo mejor es ir estudiándose el vocabulario en los distintos contextos, pero si te sirve para tener una guía generalizada, estas son dos definiciones que te pueden servir. For example, when do we use make? We use make when we're talking about creating or producing something, okay? Sometimes actions you choose to do, but the key concept there is for creating and producing. On the other hand, the verb do, we're going to use it when we talk about actions, obligations, or repetitive tasks, okay? Let's analyze and compare some frequent collocations we usually use, okay? For example, we have make breakfast. To cook, that means to cook breakfast. I make my bed. Eso significa hacer la cama, así como ordenarla, ¿verdad? I make phone calls or to make crafts, como manualidades, ¿verdad? To make friends, hacer amigos o amistades, ¿ok? Esos son algunos ejemplos bien frecuentes. On the other hand, we have do. For example, do homework, hacer la tarea o un assignment, do research, do laundry, do the dishes. That means to wash the dishes and to wash the clothes, right? To put them into water and soap. And for example, you can do a favor as well, hacer un favor. Y eso. Ahora, que no te llame la atención, y esto a veces como que complica mucho a los students, cuando tenemos el do dos veces dentro de una oración. That's totally fine. So if you find the word do within a sentence like twice, that's totally fine. Okay, don't worry about it. No te preocupes. ¿Por qué? Porque en este caso lo que estamos viendo acá es que el do lo estamos usando de dos maneras distintas. ¿Ok? El primer do, el que está acá con rojo, ¿verdad? Lo estamos usando como parte de la estructuración de la pregunta, o sea, como un auxiliar, que eso es lo que yo ya te había explicado anteriormente. Ahora, el do que está acá al medio de la oración, ese do está funcionando como una acción. O sea, es el significado que te estoy enseñando hoy día, de hacer. Por tanto, ¿cómo yo debería traducir esa pregunta? Sería más o menos algo como, do you do research? Tú haces investigación o tú investigas, ¿verdad? No hay problema en que se repita porque ambos tienen diferentes acepciones. Lo mismo ocurre, por ejemplo, acá. I don't do laundry. I don't do laundry. Ese primer do que está siendo como parte fundamental de la negación, del don't, ¿verdad? Es un auxiliar, mientras que el segundo do de la negación sería la acción. Así que no problem. Okay guys, now comes the time in which we're going to practice a little bit. So in this exercise, you have to complete, or you have to fill in the blanks with the right verb. Is it make or do? Let's do it. Okay, time to check, guys. Let's see if your answers are correct. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and finally 8. Ready, guys? So now comes exercise number 2, in which you will have to listen to Aníbal, a dear friend and co-worker that I think he has a very beautiful British pronunciation. He's going to talk about his daily routines, and you have to answer the questions below, okay?
Hello, my name is Aníbal Bustos, and today I would like to talk about my daily routine. My routine is not always the same, because I do different things on weekends and on weekdays. On a normal weekday, I usually wake up at 8 o'clock. I have a nice breakfast with fruit and cereal, and 3 times a week I do exercise. Later, I take a shower and I brush my teeth. At 10 o'clock, I work on my online classes. I always have a cup of coffee during the morning. I often have lunch at 1 o'clock with my family. After that, I continue working until 5 o'clock. During the evening, I like to listen to music and I always play with my dogs. I never watch TV during the evenings because I don't like TV very much. I have dinner at around 7 o'clock. Then I brush my teeth, I go to bed, and I read a book before sleeping.
Time to check now. Number 1, he usually wakes up at 8 in the morning. 2, he exercises 3 times a week. 3, he takes a shower and brushes his teeth. 4, he starts his classes at 10 a.m. 5, he has lunch at 1 p.m. 6, he doesn't. He has lunch with his family. And number 7, he reads before sleeping. Okay, good job. Ahora vamos a hacer el último ejercicio, que también es de listening. So you're going to listen to the same audio again, and now you're going to indicate, you're going to cross off the things Aníbal doesn't do, okay? So let's go. Now that you're finished, we're going to find out what are the actions that Aníbal doesn't do. Let's show them. 1, 2, and 3. Good job, guys. Okay, and this is practice 4. This is just a suggested exercise if you want to practice a little bit more. Es un ejercicio escrito y es básicamente que vayas desde las diapositivas 3 a la 9 y que vayas respondiendo con tus propias acciones, ojalá que sean reales, ¿verdad? Acerca de estas rutinas diarias de las cuales yo te estoy preguntando, ¿ok? Recuerda hacer en lo posible oraciones completas, no solamente una palabra, para que puedas reforzar también la estructuración del presente simple. Bueno, chicos, estamos llegando al final de la clase de hoy. Muchas gracias por quedarse hasta el final. Antes de que se vayan, por favor, respóndame, déjenme en los comentarios, please. Estoy haciendo una pequeña encuesta. Díganme qué otra clase les gustaría tener. TV, opción 1. Opción 2, foods. No te olvides, después de haber terminado con el estudio de toda esta clase y una vez que ya estés súper clarito o clarita respecto de este contenido, anda a la siguiente lista de reproducción, que es de Speaking Practice, y haz los ejercicios de Speaking. Es una lista de reproducción cuyo objetivo es practicar pronunciación, fluidez y entonación, que son todos los componentes que finalmente van a hacer la diferencia en tu pronunciación. Que tengan una linda tarde o día o lo que sea, y nos vemos en el próximo video. Bye bye.